Techland just dropped a thrilling first look at Dying Light, the Beast, the upcoming standalone adventure game, set in the same story as the previous games. You'll play as Kyle Crane from the first game. But after the nuke launch in the first game, Kyle Crane survived the nuclear blast and experimented for 10 years, which he gained tremendous power from the experiment done on him. And also, please note that those players who have either purchased the Ultimate Edition of the game or the Ultimate Upgrade will get this standalone game for free. If you haven't purchased either of them and would like to get this one, you will need to do so before September 30th, 2025, after which this will no longer included in the DLC pack. Without further ado, let's jump straight into the video. I'm really confused with this one. From what I've heard, this was a DLC for the Dying Light 2 game, but is now a full-length standalone game. So I don't understand there will no longer be a DLC Part 2 to the Dying Light 2 game. I'm being cautiously optimistic about this game and having Crane back. Dying Light 2 was a huge disappointment for some of it fan base. I'm being cautious here because, if we go back, when the first game was launched, Techland secretly released Dying Light Battle Royale. Type game, set in the same apocalyptic world, where you'll have to kill zombies and upgrade your gears, and also defend yourself from other players in the lobby. Another reason is, after Tencent acquiring the company and making Dying Light even worse, by including shitty microtransactions in the game. Same reason why I'm super afraid of the Dying Light IP will die. After this game launches, I fear they're going to milk or lick of every drop of the money sticking anywhere in our bodies. It kind of grosses me out saying weird things here. I apologise for this. Okay, now coming back to the main topic. Although Dying Light 2 is a game that's seen a lot of criticism over the past years, some controversy, I'll be honest, I haven't kept up with it for about since the launch of this sequel, but I sunk over 100 of hours into Dying Light first game since its launch back in 2015. And now, with the release of the new game, I'm thinking about giving a try on the sequel game. But before I do, let's break down Dying Light the Beast, what went wrong, what went right, and what we can expect from this standalone game. Let's start with the basics. Dying Light 2 launched with huge hype. The game promised a world of choice, a massive open world, great parkour mechanics, and thrilling zombie combat. In many ways it delivered, at least at the surface level. The gameplay, particularly the parkour and melee combat, was a big hit with players. There were moments where you felt truly empowered, bouncing off walls, and taking down hordes of zombies in satisfying ways. But there's no denying that the game's launch felt a little off. There was something missing that we had in the original Dying Light, a rawness and intensity and unpredictability. And while Techland's updates did improve things over time, especially with night mode and combat updates, the game still felt like it was missing that extra spark that made the first title so special. Fast forward a bit, and Dying Light 2 has seen its share of updates and DLCs. The first DLC, while fun, felt like it didn't really deliver on the promise of expanding the story or world in meaningful ways. Instead, we got a series of challenges. Now, I get it, challenges can be fun, but when you're looking for deeper content, something that really builds on the game's world and narrative, it just wasn't quite what players were hoping for. So now, with DLC 2 on the horizon, we've got to ask, can Techland stick the landing? This is the moment where they could prove that they learned from the past and give us the content we were all expecting from the start. Now here's where things get interesting. I've been thinking about this a lot. Sometimes moving on from a game or even rebooting it entirely might be the best move. Think about it. Dying Light 2 could have been a fantastic game if it had a more solid foundation. And I'm not just talking about the story or world design, but the actual systems like the gun combat. If they built that from the ground up, rather than adding it in as an afterthought, we might be looking at a very different experience. What Techland might be realising is that it's possible to start fresh, build a new, stronger platform for the franchise. Imagine a new game with a much sturdier core foundation, better mechanics, better gunplay, and a more seamless integration of all the elements that make Dying Light unique, that could really take the franchise to new heights. Now let's talk about something a bit more frustrating, the pricing. With DLC 2 coming in at $80, it feels like we're paying more than what we originally expected. players were anticipating this kind of content at around the $40 price point, so the price hike is definitely something worth mentioning. But this isn't the first time we've seen this kind of shift. Just look at Assassin's Creed Mirage. They did the same thing. It's part of the trend of higher expectations, bigger updates, and, let's be honest, some questionable price tags. The real question is, will DLC 2 be worth it? And here's where I stand. I'm cautiously optimistic. Techland has a track record, and yes, it's been a bit hit or miss. But if they nail this DLC, they could really turn things around. After all, there's still a lot of potential in this world, and if DLC 2 delivers what it promises, giving us the experience we expected with Dying Light 1, then we might have something special on our hands. That said, there's also that lingering doubt. If Techland fumbles again, then we might be looking at a franchise that never quite fulfills its potential. So while I'm excited for what's to come, I'm not going in with blind faith. Catch you on the next time. Peace out.